Thank you very much. Before I let you go, I'm going to ask Dr. Christian Lloyd, who is the Academic Director of the Bader International Study Center, to say a few concluding words. Before he does, I just want to thank you all once again for coming. Events like this don't just happen. I've mentioned several times the many partners who contributed funding to it. This is, as Zach said, part of the mandate of university scholars to begin to talk to members of the community outside of the ivory tower. It's a bit of a mixed experiment. It's something that we haven't traditionally done. We need to do more of, and I'm very grateful that members of the public saw a newspaper ad or saw something on social media and thought, well, I'll come and spend a day and learn about that. That sounds interesting. So thank you all for coming. And Christian, would you like to say a few closing words? Thank you.
Wow, what a full day and what a display of skill and dedication from all kinds of people. I've learned a lot, and I found out to my embarrassment. I've lived and worked at the castle for many years. I'm often called upon to give brief tours of visitors, and I have been leading people astray, I'm afraid. It's one of the things I learned today that I thought were the case, but are not the case in actual fact. So I'll be revising my tour on the basis of what I learned today. I'd like to thank Stephen and his actually quite large team of colleagues, students, staff members for organising Climates of Change. And I'd also like to thank all of the contributors and the audience members for engaging so thoughtfully with the theme of this event. We've had a tremendous day today, and I think it speaks very highly to the model of academia that Stephen himself embodies. That people from such different age groups, disciplines, backgrounds, occupations, nationalities, and so on are here, and have interacted with real energy and respect for one another. People have listened to each other. I've noticed so many side conversations that have been really animated today. We've been lucky to have papers from speakers ranging from a senior archivist who's made decades of study of the castle and the manor, through undergraduates who've grasped their first chance to work at the castle, to a student who's close to finishing his PhD. Sorry. Probably enough nagging for one. I can talk. It took me a very, very long time to finish mine. We've also heard from conservators, archaeologists, and historians who work in several modes, which may be unfamiliar to some of you. So some quite avant-garde takes on history here. And it should now be clear how this interdisciplinary, multifocal approach has given us a nuanced sense of some of the possible answers to the questions that were asked at the start of this project when the initial grant was being applied for. Clearly, more exciting work is on its way as we continue for next year, and also consider the possibility of applying for further funding to extend the work that's been done already. I would again trust that the audience members whose tax money went towards this project feel satisfied that this was actually a good use of public funds at a time when, as everyone knows, there is great difficulty funding humanities and social sciences projects, particularly those like this which have a complicated, they're large in scope and require gestation. They need people to do all kinds of research to see how that research interacts, to reach towards conclusions that are not obvious initially and so on. They need time, they need substantial resources. What I would say is we've heard from many bright and very productive students today, and that itself is justification in my eyes for what's been achieved by Canadian taxpayers here, by academics, by everyone else involved in this, before we even get to the publication and other outreach projects, both digital and in person, that will have come out of the work today and will continue to come out of the work in the future. I'd like to leave you with a thought from a cultural theorist who was very important to my own work when I was doing my doctorate. I'm referring to Mikhail Bakhtin, who was a Russian academic who lived a key part of his life in Stalinist Russia under that tyranny. And put very simply, Bakhtin argues that truth can only be found in dialogue, not in the utterance of an individual or in the expression of a single consciousness. In other words, if we are really trying to be actively present in the world, as people have been in this project, our words must respond to previous utterances on a subject, they must engage with present utterances, and they must anticipate future responses. There is no such thing as the last word on any subject, according to Bakhtin. What we've seen today is a dialogic attempt to find some truths about the past and to anticipate future words on climate change. I have thoroughly enjoyed being in Waterloo. I really would like to thank all of the people who've hosted me in various ways, and I hope you have too. Thank you very much.